Welcome back to Factorio. My name is Nilaus and we are here with our glorious little base, and I've just of course been cleaning up a little bit between the sessions, chopping down some trees to make some space for what we're gonna build today, cleaning up these lines so they're looking nicely, and we can now see this is the start of the main boss. I realized in the previous episode I didn't really explain anything about the main boss, but that was also not really my intention, but I think it will be a little bit more evident in this episode what the purpose is, but we at least see the essence of it here. The rest of the base is as we left it off. There's some products here, and we are just kind of working our way through it, and we will have a major issue soon because these 190,000 iron will run out very, very soon. And before that runs out, or basically when it runs out, we have to be out here and get this one. Yeah, and defend it. That's another thing. We have someone has been out here clearing the few small biter nests that are out here so that we have a safe place to focus on the build today, and then by the time we build, there'll probably be new enemies coming in. So everything looks good. I have marked what we're going to do today. We're going to be making red and green signs in a structured way because this needs to be retired, and then we need to make it into some labs. I could make the whole thing together in one block, but I actually want red, green, and blue signs into this lab, into this block, and then signs in here, which will also later on service as our landing pad for the future when we get that far. So that's why I keep it in two separate, even though we could put it in one. So let's move on up here to this location and try to figure out what it is we want to do. So what we want to do is we want to make a build, and we can start like all the way to the beginning. And let's see, how many is this? This is 10. I need 12. There, that's 12. And this will make the green signs because this is what we really want. So let's make green signs here. And over opposite it will be here. That will be the red. And we only need 10 of these. So this is what I tend to always do, is build it in the scale where we are making 10 of these. This is on a 5-second cycle. So if we had 10 constructors, if they were speed 1, they're not. But if they were, then that would give us 2 per second. This is only half speed because they're awful gray ones. But they look nice with the new animation. But when they get updated, so this will give us 1.5 per minute moving forward. So this is going to be... that's not actually working. Ugh. The whole thing has to be moved 1 up. So I need to do... there. Move it up. So this will be the first part. We need to put things out here, and this belt will be the red and green. Oh, we don't even have any of the long-handed inserters. Let's get some of those going. And they will need to be here. Long-handed. There we go. So they get a little bit of that. So this will go over here. And I now need to get some power and some... yeah, this is weird. But I need some power here, and then I need to be able to get that and that. So this little power pole can exactly feed all these, but it can't put any extra or any what's it called, lights in here. So we want that light. So this is going to be repeated like this and like this and like this and like this and kind of like this, but not these 2, 3. There. And then we can fire this up. Here we are. And then we need, this will be the input for the greens, and I'll need the input for the reds up here. That. However, this is weird, but I kind of have to do this thing here. And this is something that doesn't really make sense right now, but it will make sense later on when we need to make room for some other things, because we need to jam this very, very close in order to have room for both red, green, military, and blue signs in a single block. So that's the challenge here. So we are gonna do this one because we're gonna need this space in here between these later on. So then we just need the inbounds here, all the stuff that is being done. Then I think that's gonna be fine here, and this build here is also just trying to get things very compact. Oh, that was the last one we had. Oh, perfect. So we did. So this will be gears. We need gears, and this will be inserters, and this will be belts, and that would not be anything. So the reason why is because if we just look, then that one and that one will make the belts, and the inserters go out on the belt to be part of the green science here. And they both need to get some inbounds here. And that means we definitely need to get some iron in here. This requires iron and this requires iron. So let's get that here, here, and here and here. Now let's fire it up with some power poles right now. First is this one. I think I need to put a power pole here. Good. So those are the power poles. Then this is also needing iron, and I can do that in a really silly way by doing it like this. Then that also gets iron. Then we do need, this one needs green circuits, and there isn't a whole lot of good places to get green circuits, except that one. That's a good place. So we just need green circuits coming in here. It doesn't need to be on both sides, but it needs to go in here. And then the only thing we're really missing is up here. This gear will go out. And then now it's the right hand side in the direction of travel, or we can do this flip here if we feel like it. I don't really know if that makes a lot of sense. I think it might be easier to flip it up so that it's on the top side, and then it comes in as copper on the lower side of this one. So if this is done, then we get copper in on the lower side of this belt. Actually, I don't want to do it like that, because that's too big a chance that you'll be messing it up. So I'm going to do it like this, where it comes in and then merges in from the bottom into that one. It's just easier to do that there. And then we just need to now use the bus to get things inbound. And here, and we'll just get you. I'll just merge these up below, there, yeah. And that's the first one. Shouldn't I also get some lights in here? Yeah, definitely a light in here and a light up here. We won't really have lots of lights. So what is the next thing? That's the green circuits. So we need to get green circuits. That is going from here. And I'm going to drag these ones all the way up, even though I'm not really needing them right now. And we're going to have to jump over. That goes up and go, nope. Because it continues up. And the next one is at this location. Maybe. Goes up here. We take the whole thing. It goes over to this one, and I think it's like this. It probably isn't. This doesn't look right. Oh, it does. It is. I'm not going to use underground belts unless I have to use underground belts. There. Okay, so let's see what we get. We are getting all this, so the green science is working, but the red science is not working because it's waiting for the copper to come in. Here we go. We can see that it's coming in. And then we now start having a production of this. Great. So, what do we want to do? I want to make some iron gears. That's actually, we can steal them from up here. And let's make some labs before moving forward. We are now starting to retire this one. We are not actually actively putting anything in anymore, but I want to reclaim this. And how many do I have? I have now 11, and I want 13. Why 13? I have no clue, but that's just what I can fit in. So 1, 2. That's the 13 we need. And then we move all the way back up. Look at how clean this space is already. It's so nice. And look at how much science we got here. Now this is of course using a lot of our iron, which is another matter or another headache for a later time. We are also going to get some power up here. And I think I'll actually go out here on the outside to keep that away from the design there. So that goes up. Now at this point we are going to get just this line, and this line has to be able to handle 4 different sciences. Red, green, military, and blue. And the other 2 will come in here. So we have to keep that in mind when we start branching off from here. So we are going to do this part, and wherever do I want it. So I want to make this like maximum distance out. Yeah, I think this is good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever. It's going to be until I don't have any more. There. And does that seem... That seems correct. I think I need the space for something else. Right, so now I want to get power in here. Or I want to get all of these in. We'll start here. I am a little bit puzzled why I don't have an extra one up here. I can't remember. So now I'm going to make a spontaneous decision, and those are never correct. So I'm just going to put this up here, and we might have to take it out. But it just looks so much nicer right now that it's here. So we're going to keep doing this and get that one here. And as we get this in, looking good. So now it starts shoveling in stuff, and then we can now start looking at science. So what are the most important things to get for science here? Before we do the next thing, which is going to be a nightmare to build, we must have the circuit, and we must have the electric energy distribution. So for me, those are the most important ones to get first, because those are the ones that bar me from moving forward. I'd also like to have this one, but we'll keep this one as it is. So now this is working. They're chugging along. This is actually going to be pretty quick. Oh, I should just get this one junked in there. And so we now have constant production. It goes all the way. Finally, we have like a fully automated flow from the mining into the iron, into here, and then into science. And the same for the copper, also flowing to the green circuits, and there, and the copper as well. So this is very nice. There's finally a whole chain of production here. So they got the first of the two sciences we must have. That we got the circuit network, and now we're working on the electric energy distribution moving forward. And now comes the thing. If this comes back to the part about the hub, or sort of the main bus, because that's an integral part of this, that it will, as we push things in from the bottom, we can add more here. It'll be pushing in on more lanes, on higher quality lanes, just pushing it up here. Then it'll start branching off. So the first things you branch off will basically, every time there's a branch like this, it'll get half. So what we want, we have reserved this one because this is where we want the most important thing to go, and anything down the line is just if there's any more capacity left. So what is the most important thing? That is, of course, the hub. And I know we might as well address the elephant in the room. I know some people call it a mall, but mall is a suburban hellhole where teenagers hang out, and that is not it. A hub is the center of a logistics network, so that's why I have decided to call it a hub and not a mall. But you can call it whatever you want, and that is perfectly fine. So what I want to do is I want actually to just kind of highlight all the things that I'd love to do. Like, look at all of these things. These are all things that would be really cool to have in a base, like in abundance, so that we can just pick it up and start working on it if there's anything here. So let's look at these things. Like, we have belts, we have red belts, we have all the different types of inserters, radars, assemblers, better assemblers. You can see the stuff that isn't researched, it's just crossed out. Miners. Over here we have boxes that turn into logistics boxes and roboports eventually. Then we have all the circuit stuff here, different kind of circuit modules. We have substations, power poles here, and then fitting in some turret and lights. Over here we have other things. We have like the pipes, have different better types of smelters. Then we get into the pipe stuff, which is like a pump and a wagon, or a fuel wagon. We also have a fluid wagon. Our fluid wagon is here, a tank out here. We have the chemical plant and the refinery. We have all the train stuff as well. So we have train stations, we have rails, we have the tanker station, the signals. We also have pump jacks, and that one should not be there. We don't want to make uranium. We don't want to have that one either, and we don't want to have this one, and we don't want to. Oh, well, we do want to have those, but some of these things are a little bit like too advanced for us right now. That this is also too advanced. This is too advanced. So some of these things we can just look at and go like, yeah, I mean, we'd like to have them, sure, but not that one. But they're a little bit. These things are the stuff that we can do now because they are before oil, before blue science. So anything that's before blue signs and red circuits, that's it here. Anything beyond this part is also something we want, but it's not something we have to get immediately. But I think that if you could design it, we would really want to design all of it at once, so that we got all of this ready. And that's just an insane amount of work. Like, I don't know how long time I spent on it, maybe 10 hours, and I also got a lot of help from the community. And just spending it here while trying to sneak in and out what we these powerfuls, it's just not really happening. So what I've done is I have, of course, prepared a blueprint. It's not a simple blueprint. It took a hell of a long time to make, so I don't think there's any way around it. Just saying, I would recommend using this blueprint, or you can pause the screen and take a screenshot and then reconstruct it. So I'm going to stamp this one down here, this blueprint, and yes, the blueprints are available to Patreon supporters, and that's kind of my way of saying thank you to the people who are supporting. And this is like an intricate mess of everything. So what I'd like to do is I would like to start to build all of this, but not hook it up. And then we can hook it up, and as we hook it up, we can see how it works, and we can see how the flow is, because I think that's the best way of just understanding the flow. We can see that one had a crossout. Now it's no longer has a crossout because it actually has automation too. What are the other things we really want? This is good because it actually gets us grenades, which helps clear out more forests. Maybe some of everything. I don't know. Like, there's basically, we want everything here. Automobilism is also good because that gets us there, that one, and then automobilism is good. We are not going to go into here the fluid handling because that opens up all of the liquids. That's not what we're going to do. We're not going to take the railroads because that also opens up another chain. We're going to take all the stuff that isn't railroads and isn't oil to start with. Now we're really starting to see the power of the main bus, why you need so much space here, because you need to sort of tangle things in and out of each other, and it must be possible to branch to both sides, and therefore we need some space. And when it gets crowded with too many inputs next to each other, it gets a little bit difficult. Like, for example, we also now have concrete that we can't do, but we want to do that. I mean, isn't it? Yeah, we'll put concrete up next after solar energy. Not that we really want solar energy. Actually, let's get concrete up first, because we might actually want to get concrete in here. Not really needed for anything here, but since it is one of the ingredients. So what I want to do now, I want to explain how this works, because you can see that there are a myriad of green and red wires everywhere, and they're really annoying. They are really annoying. So basically they control the assemblers, and they say if there's less than, or if it's greater than 800, if this is, no, it's greater than 0, then do it. So this means that every single assembler has a signal coming in, and everything in the box has a green signal monitoring it. So the red signal is getting the command to start or stop, and the green one is summarizing the content of every single box, and it's all consolidating back to this location, where we basically have this here. This is where you set single point, you set whatever you want to produce in the hub. And this is one of those things where if you include it in the blueprint, then you don't have these names already, then they will be created as groups, logistics groups, which is really handy. But if you have them already and have them different, then they won't be overridden. That's kind of how it works. So again, this is one of those things. I've now set it up and just set up how many I want. Like, oh, okay, I want this much of each of these. And then when we get started, the way it works is that it sends on the red wire in here. And then it basically says the red wire minus the green wire. And if that's a positive number, then we still want to craft more. If it's 0, then we have exactly what we want. If it's a negative number, then we have more in the boxes than we want. Can we just do an illustrative example of something? There's nothing I have more of than I want. But if I put, for example, in here, this is where the red ones are belonging. So if we now look at this one, then yeah, I'm worried that it doesn't work now because that looked a little bit suspicious. Oh, right. Yeah. So the way that it is missing is that there's actually missing a green wire from here to here. And then once we get the green wire in, we can see that there's green wire. This is what is in the boxes that goes in here. And that's the stuff that actually gets in, and you can then see the content out here. We now only need additional 44. So that's how it works. Must get in here. The reason why I think I have left this out is because when you stamp down the next iteration, which is using logistics network, then you are not monitoring based on the content of the boxes. You want to monitor by the content of the logistics network, which means the robot. We'll get back to that, back more into that as we get going. Let's start by hooking it up. All of these, just hook it up and just see what happens. And it's gonna, this is going to just consume everything in the base for now, for a long time. And we just follow this in. So basically what we're seeing is that this is a very compact way, and it's only using up to red. I'm not using blues, and I'm not using obviously green. They're going to be made on volcanoes, so that's much later. We're just going to get up and use red belts for now. So it goes in here, it branches in, and it goes in and makes some gears. These ones are not really making a lot of gears because it gets saturated down here, or at least to saturate all those belt. And this is going to take a mildly forever to get everything done here. And gradually, hopefully, everything will be built, and they'll start sort of building repositories for everything. Get some boxes, get some of this. You can see some of the things start working already. And we can see this one is, oh yeah, some of these, and this is important, some of these are actually not controlled by the assembler. And this is because this will be also feeding into the logistics chest and the passive provider chest. And if I control the assembler when this box was full, then it would also continue on. So in this case, I'm controlling the output inserter so that this one is only working when there is a signal here, or when. But this can keep working so that it can feed into the logistics chest if we're suddenly using logistics chest but not using any of the steel chests. And we now also finally get some of these. That's glorious. Those are the ones we want. And from now on, we can just go back here. Every time we unlock something, we get something new. Every time we need something, we can just go in here and try to pick up some things here. And as we go into this box, we can see this is the stuff that's already been crafted. And as we unlock more things, for example, the rails, then that will be unlocking, and also unlocking the oil, then that one will be unlocking. The thing is with the oil is that we can't even unlock it. Even if I took this one, I just realized we can get the liquid trains, but we can't get the oil gathering. Yes, we can, but we can't get the refinery before we actually mine the oil. So we cannot get this. It means we can't even start making the refineries and chemical plants. This, I am not super happy about this idea here, because it would be nice so that when we go out and mine the pump jacks, we have already crafted refineries and chemical plants. That's a little bit of a thing, but you know, it's a one-time thing, so it'll just be a little bit of a slowdown. Power-wise, how's that going along? Yeah, not so great, and therefore it might actually be a good time for us to go here. I've just put this little hack in here where we want to build. We just put some else in here, and then we can use this one again. Stamp it down, and I'll take this out because it doesn't belong, but we can then start working on this, getting this one going. And so we are hooking the last bit of this up. There we go. So we maintain power, and it works, yeah, just works fine. Right, so that doubled our power. This one will continue to work for a long time. The science will continue to work also for a long time. What is our objective now? Well, we could make concrete down here. There is a build for concrete and a build for landfill, but I don't actually want to do that because we're going to have to use concrete or landfill anytime soon. Well, we might need landfill soon up here, but and also maybe here, I don't know. But what I really need to do now is let the science sort of continue, and then be a little bit careful about what we want to build from here. And I think maybe next time, if we actually want to start working on figuring out if we can get some trains built. Ooh, would that be something? Yeah. So if you're excited for us to start making like a very rudimentary train inbound, because this thing is running out. There's 150,000 left. We could take this one and just smash it in on 4 belts, and then we'd be happy. But there's also something cool about trying to make trains here. And now that we have the hub, then the train production should be coming in easily. So that is basically what we wanted to do today. If we look at it, it doesn't seem like much. Well, I mean, this seems like a lot, but this is one of those things where I really wish that I could sort of that I didn't need to just stamp down the blueprint and just paint by numbers. But this is just one of those cases. It's the same as when you need balancers, then you download RainQuest's belt balancers, and it's just no reason to start working on it yourself. I found that this is a super good way of doing it, and it's really nice that we can sort of adjust it in a single place for everything, that we sort of like, oh yeah, we need to build a little bit more because I'm going to be upgrading everything from to red belt, so let's increase the red belts, and let's also get more of this and less of that, and whatever it is, you can have like one overview of everything that you're going to build from here. I think that's pretty damn cool, and therefore I think this this design here is a pretty good one to use, and easy to include in your own base if you are following the same city block pattern and the same size. So those are, as I guess, the save games as well are also available. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We now have a very nice structured base. We have red and green signs completely automated. We have a hub automated. We can now start to be more focused on building stuff, and that would be like, next thing would be trains, and then we'll go into oil, and then we'll get into, oh, military science is also a thing. So that's like a million things we want to do. So definitely follow along. My intention is that I want this series to go all the way through to the very end of the end game, and with designing along the way, and yeah, hopefully you want to tag along for the journey. And it's also going to be on Twitch, so both here on YouTube and on Twitch. So thank you for watching, and thank you to everyone following on Twitch and also supporting on Patreon. Until next time, take care, and as always, stay effective.